Today is May 20th, 2025. Present is the IT department with Shane Overturf. If you would give us an overview, Shane, what's going on in your department, please?
An overview. Well, what's been taking most of our time and money since we had our cybersecurity tabletop exercise is kind of focused on the things that we talked about that we needed to do going forward. So we upped our Barracuda subscription to the next level. Does a little more stuff for us as far as blocking the malicious emails. Then of course we implemented the Know Before platform to work on the training aspect of it for our users. And then I've also created a cybersecurity incident response plan, and I provided the initial draft of that to Ginger and Doug for their input. And Doug is got a lot of edits he would like to make to it, but he hasn't had time. So until he has time to really work over it, then it's kind of a living document. It is what it is right now. So if we had an incident, that's what we would kind of go by. But there's some changes he would like to make to it to bring it more in line with what his other response plans look like. So that's kind of what we've been spending most of our time on. I mean, other than the regular support stuff.
Question on cost, like the cybersecurity. What's up with Microsoft? They put an increase?
Yep.
And without you,
No notice, no warning, just your price went up.
is this is something we probably still need to retain, right? Or keep, I mean, the cost,
Yeah.
you're sort of stuck.
I would love to get rid of it, but that's,
Nothing to replace it.
yeah, it's not as easy as just saying we're gonna use somebody else's email. Because there's more to it than just email. A lot of our users use OneDrive so that they have access to their files regardless of what computer they're sitting at. And so that's part of that subscription is the OneDrive aspect of it. There are some things that we could do to replace OneDrive. There are some things that we could do to replace the email. Right now, there's nothing that's just all one package that would just, there's a new thing coming out. There's still in alpha. It's not even in beta yet. So maybe in a year's time, there would be something that would be kind of like an all-in-one package that would replace our Microsoft account. The other aspect of that is Word, Excel, and Outlook. So if we got something to replace all of that, then people who are used to Word and Excel there would be a little bit of change to use something different. And there are things out there that would replace it, but it's not exactly the same. It would be a little different. And anytime you change something like that for 100 users, 120 users, there's going to be some growing pains with that. It's not that we can't do it. It's not that right now it's not really a viable option, but maybe in a year we could do that. But it would still be a little bit painful during the transition.
See anything on the Microsoft where it might change anything, or are we pretty much what you've got now for that when you purchase? Is that pretty much what we're using now for the cost? Or is anything going to change in that Microsoft if you're aware of the software or anything else that's coming to be, I guess, that anybody needs to know about or the employees?
Well, as far as Windows 10 being end of life in October.
Right.
So there was, we've been working our way through all the county computers to look at what needs to be upgraded, what can be upgraded, what's going to have to be just replaced. We have replaced a few already. There were some departments that said, let's go ahead and do it before the end of the budget year, because they had some budget to do it. So we've replaced some. I think the sheriff's department is probably gonna take the biggest hit on that, because they've got a lot of those laptops that just can't be upgraded. And those are $3,000 a piece to replace them. So they're gonna be the hardest hit, I think, by that Windows 10 end of life. I really tried. I spent quite a few hours trying to get Zerger to work on Linux instead of Windows. I just won't do it. So they're kind of stuck. They can't use anything else. They've got to have Windows 11, and so.
Commissioners?
What's your new windows?
What's
Your
that?
New windows, how are those?
The Windows 11?
I think your literal window.
And the windows
No,
that you're
your
building.
literal window.
Oh, yeah. Well, they look nice. I don't know if they're any better insulated or not than the ones we had. I mean, they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we did order blinds.
Find out this winter,
We'll find out this winter, yeah.
Don't have that breeze blowing behind you.
Yeah. If you want me to, I can show you the Know Before platform and kind of where we're at as far as training. If you want me to use the keyboard and the mouse, I can log in and show it to you.
Can you refresh my memory, or for that matter, everyone else? I don't recall what that was.
It's our new training.
So that's the new training,
Oh, the
cybersecurity
mandatory
training
cybersecurity.
platform.
One that we're doing all the time?
Yep.
Some of us are, I guess.
If you're not, you're getting nasty right next
Yeah.
to me. Please get this done in the next 5 days. Love, Kelly.
Is that working out for you?
It
Seriously?
is, actually, we're not having.
It's
couple.
going really well.
It's going
Better
really
than,
well.
better than what I expected for the first 90 days.
Me
I
as
mean,
well.
you expect a lot of issues during the first 90 days because people are getting used to it.
Mhm.
It's different.
No, it's going really well.
I like the fact that it sends me more than one reminder.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I do like
I,
that.
I, if I'm busy when it first sends it to me, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And if it didn't send me another reminder, I probably never do it.
And it'll tell you how many days you have left. to do
Yeah.
it. That's. It'll say you gotta do.
I usually just ignore the first reminder.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this.
So on the main dashboard page, this is our phishing campaigns that we've sent
Oh.
out, and so you can see
How's that?
how many people clicked, how many people opened attachments,
We have
how
some-
many people typed in data when they went to the fake site.
Oops,
It's really,
not bad.
like I said, it's better than I expected. Usually, when I've started these programs, it's in a place where they haven't had any program before. We did at least have something that we were doing before, and I think that helped.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, what I've seen is for the first 3 months, your fish prone percentage over there would be higher than the industry average, where ours is way lower.
Good.
So we're better than the average in small government. Just starting out. And so,
And nobody knew it was coming. I mean, the people in the meeting knew it was coming, but the rest of the employees didn't know, so.
Well, my problem was I couldn't find the fish thing to report it,
Yeah.
so I just deleted it. I'm like,
Same
where
here.
is this?
I just
It
go over
took
the-
me forever to find it.
Helen called me, she's like, this is very suspicious. Like, it is, click the Fisher, okay.
well, see, and the bad thing is with Microsoft changing Outlook, they have broken that fish alert button for about half of our users, so they don't even have it.
Oh, okay.
So if you're using the old version of Outlook, the classic
Yeah.
version, you have the button. If you're using the new version of Outlook, you don't have the
Oh.
button. Or if you're using the web
That's
version of
crazy.
Outlook, you don't have the button.
Mm.
And there, I've gone through all the steps to make it work in the new one, and it still doesn't show up or work.
Hmm.
So someday they may get their act together and it may work, but until then, people just have to delete them.
Okay, that works too. Yeah, I don't have the Fisher.
So here you can see this would be the list of all of our users. And how they've responded to the phishing campaigns. So these are how many that we delivered to them, how many they opened, how many failures they had, how many times they clicked, replied, opened attachments, that kind of thing, and how many they reported. And so, you know, we would expect a few clicks. It's everybody falls for it sometimes. It's just, it happens,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's not bad at all.
No,
I think we're doing really good.
no bad repeat offenders.
We have a couple,
Shall remain unnamed.
but there's one that I was concerned about to begin with, because that individual, I already knew they got a lot of real phishing emails constantly. They get hounded pretty good with real phishing emails. And so I was concerned to see how they would respond to the simulated ones, because I don't know if they're clicking on those real ones that they get. And so they have actually clicked on a couple of the simulated ones. So
Is it
it's just
Barbican?
no, it's
Okay.
not.
Okay,
But overall, we're doing really good, I think. And these numbers should just prove that. Because we're so early in our training, some of the graphs are not going to be real helpful until we get more months in there. But you can see our risk score has gone down even just in the last 2 months. So the fish prone percentage, you can throw out these first high numbers right here, because that's when we were testing it to make sure that Microsoft and Barracuda weren't clicking on the links for us. So you can throw those out, and really these are where we're at right here. So those numbers are, like I said, below the industry average.
Are we still shopping for insurance for that, or are we kind of just in between right now?
I think Mako's coming up with something, or
yeah, but
trying
it's
to.
not-
Yeah,
it's a
that would-
long way out.
That would be nice if they can get that. I mean, it's a, you know, ultimately it's gonna be up to you guys. The downside to having insurance is the bad guys will know that you have insurance, and so your ransom is gonna be higher. They're gonna ask for more money because they know you can afford it because you have insurance.
Right.
So if we don't have insurance, they'll know we only have $1 to give them, and they'll just leave us
If-
alone.
Typically, if they see that you don't have insurance, then what they're gonna ask for is less than if you did have insurance, but then you have no insurance to help you cover that cost, so then it's all on you.
How do they know we have insurance?
Yeah, that's
Because
my
they've
question.
But
hacked
they're
into
trolling
us?
through your documents, yes.
Because they've hacked.
They're
into
looking
us?
at all of your
That makes
documents and they
sense.
know, you know, what
They hacked
contracts
the
you
insurance
have.
company.
So you said that, an application in a while ago, you were having to check this off because we weren't doing that, and check this off because we weren't doing, are we including that?
We're not there yet.
No,
We,
okay.
we can't check any more of those boxes than what we did a few months ago. We're still working on it, but,
Okay, but
Are we
it
getting
should
closer?
get better.
yeah. We're on the right track. It's just gonna take some time to get there. One of the biggest things is, the two-factor authentication for VPN connections. We can't answer yes to that because of the way the deputies' laptops connect to the
Mhm.
VPN. We're already requiring them to use the YubiKey to log into the computer. So then if we require them to do a two-factor to get into the VPN too, then it's not practical to do that. So we can't say, yes, we're doing it, but we can give a good reason why we're not. So, yeah, I mean, there's a few things like that, and then the other thing is, because of our network being all flat, we're not segmented and we can't differentiate between Siegen computers and non-Siegen computers, so technically they're all considered Siegen computers, so all of our employees should be using the YubiKeys. So if, once we get that project done where we segment the network out, then we can say, okay, yeah, we've got our bases covered there. But this is the incident response plan that I came up with a lot of help from our antivirus company. They have a tool that helps you build this, and it saves a ton of time. Puts a lot of industry standard stuff in there, and then you go in and tweak it a little bit. So I've tweaked it a little, but you know, like I said, Doug would like to tweak it more. But it has nice flow charts. So like if you have an incident, you start here and you say, okay, does it match the criteria for an incident? And then you go through and figure out what actions you need to take based on how severe it is or who it impacts and that kind of thing. Different severity levels. Most of what we're going to see is going to be low. And so you guys never even have to hear about them. We just handle them and they're done. If it gets to the point where it's medium or high critical, then Doug would have to get involved and you guys would be involved. That would be something that was a real serious incident. So. Some of the terms they use in the IT industry, you know, steering committee and that kind of thing. Really, that's just you guys, the commissioners. And then Doug is the incident response manager. And then on the team, you know, me and Levi would be on the team to handle the incident. And of course, Steve's the legal counsel.
I just want to ask you, because I know we talked about it a long time ago, with that phone number there, I know that's the work phone for the commissioners. Will that still forward onto my cell phone? I think you set it up at one time, as long as we don't lose electricity or anything, it should still stay the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a pretty long document. My plan is to put that in a location that all the managers have access to, and then send out an email and say, just tell everybody where it's at. And there it is if you want to read it.
Very good.
Anyway, that's all I had. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what we've been doing since the tabletop exercise. And
Sounds like we're moving forward in the right direction,
yeah,
in the right way.
in order to pay for that Know Before platform, I saved some money on some other things, cut some other things out. And because this was really more important than the other things, so.
The other program we had for cybersecurity, what was that through Mako or? do you
It was through
remember?
Mako and it was free. It wasn't costing us anything, but you know, you could see in this one, we have a lot of reporting and ability to modify the way the training works for individuals that click more, that kind of thing. Whereas in the other one, we had very little control over.
It
what
was just
the-
mostly training.
Yeah.
Cause it, honestly, personally, for me, the old training was a little more usable and doable than this new training. New training kind of, it's funny and fun. It kind of gets to the point, but the old one was a little more in the weeds of of what we needed to know.
And they have a ton of videos on this one. We started out with the very first one was more in the weeds kind of thing.
Okay.
And I had some people who told me that was a little too complicated for their
Oh,
people.
okay. All right.
So we went back and started with the simple, funny ones.
Okay, so
And then-
you've got a,
We're using those little surveys at the end of them.
Okay,
We track that.
okay,
And so we see, okay, what are people saying? Does this fit? Is this valuable for them? Is this keeping them engaged enough to learn,
okay,
you know? And
Mhm.
so we're
So you can
using that
adjust
to
that.
kind of shape
okay.
the way we're going with the videos.
Yeah, cause
Um,
compared to the last one and this one, I mean, they're day and night, I mean. The other ones were real, they weren't all serious, but they were a little more. Technical, I guess, I would say, the other ones are more like a,
And they have some technical ones in this one. They tend to be a little longer is the problem.
gotcha,
And so what I heard from most people was they're too long. They don't have the time.
sure,
And if you have someone who's not technically minded, those
That's right.
longer technical ones, you lose them
Yeah.
and they don't learn anything.
right. Good.
Um,
That's good to know, I was just curious about that.
Can you give different ones to different
Yep.
people?
I've
and
got,
different
right now I've got
departments?
it divided up into like 4 or 5 different groups.
Oh,
We can divide it up even more. And send different trainings to different groups and different fishing simulations to different groups.
That's great. I'm gonna get the most technical one after.
Yeah, you're gonna get hammered.
Like 2 hour.
Try to ask that question, 2 hour video that you can't get up.
You
and
want it
pee during.
technical, Corey?
But, one thing we could do, you know, once we get it established and we kind of get a routine going, that's the biggest thing. And then we can kind of tailor them the way you guys, if you guys have input, feel free to give it to me because, you know, if you think we need to send out one technical one a month and then make the others shorter, you know, that,
That might be good. I mean, the ones that I've been seeing lately are kind of like a play or, some,
skit.
yeah, exactly.
Comedy show.
Yeah,
Sitcom.
They're pretty,
Yeah,
they're pretty light, so.
Yeah,
but I think it might get people doing them too. to
Right,
I
where
agree with you.
Yeah.
They're paying attention and
Yeah,
then,
they're interested.
and then they catch you with, oh, now you got a test at the end of this one. And I was like, what?
The test. I don't need to do that. You just gotta watch the whole thing.
but I've had a lot of comments. People say they like the new training compared to the old training. The ones that I personally like are not the ones that got the high scores.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
we're kind of,
Just
leaning-
different personalities, for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah.
I already got a no to be right there. He's quick.
Heard you.
Must be Levi watching us right there.
Yep.
Good. Well, you're doing a great job, Shane.
Mhm.
Appreciate all your work and.
Yep.
If there's anything that you recommend.
Well, I mean, the thing is, 90% of the ransomware events that happen come in through an email to begin with. And so that's kind of where we're focusing is on the phishing and blocking those emails. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have, well, I'm pretty sure I don't know if you've got any yet, but from the new Barracuda thing, there's 2 filters now instead of the 1. And so that second filter, you'll get an email that said, it's a
Yep.
little different worded than what the other one used to say.
I
When,
did get one of those, yeah.
and it's a targeted phishing attempt has been blocked. Kind of what it says. And so if it puts them in your junk folder is where it puts them. And we see those, I get emails on those too. And then when, like if we see 2 or 3 of the same thing going to multiple people, we can go into Barracuda and say, look for all common emails that are like this and pull them out of everybody's inbox.
Mhm.
And so it'll go in and get them and pull them out of their inbox. And it'll block any future ones for the next few days
Okay.
that match that.
Hmm.
So,
Quite the game we play.
Otherwise, the old one still comes up and it shows when it's been deleted, and I check and then push the garbage and get rid of it or it's trash.
yeah,
That's the old one.
yeah.
Good deal. Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Shane.
Thank you.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So do I need to contact Zelly about my password changing on my bank account? On the county bank account?
On the county.
'Cause we don't have Zelly at that bank. Like,